I took a fucking bath in Biloxi. Literally and figuratively. Thank you so much. Real quick before we kick off the show tonight, I do have to show one thing that is a little depressing. We don't do these very often here, but obviously, obviously when I usually promote a GoFundMe, it's somebody in our community, like we had Stefan recently. Karen sent me Flaccid passed away. I try not to promote, my own personal shit or people I know stuff usually too much, but this is kind of egregious circumstances. So I get on the road. What was it? When did I leave? When was our last show? Friday I got on the road. It's the 22nd. I hop in the car. I'm like maybe 15 minutes into a 9-hour drive, 8-hour drive, because I drive fast. And my sister texted me to tell me that my nephew's father-in-law unfortunately passed away, which is, it's heartbreaking for many, many reasons. But I can tell you that the main reason it's particularly heartbreaking is because, they just had kids. Like, they just had a fucking... sorry, I'm trying to get this to work. I think the link I posted isn't going to work. So let me repost it. Because GoFundMe loves to have the longest fucking possible links. Which are not very convenient. But anyway, like I said, so my nephew's father-in-law just passed away. And it's a terrible situation, particularly because they just had kids. They literally just had kids. Which is unfortunate. So, to have not one but two babies at the same time, and then to have the grandpa pass away at Christmas sucks. And my nephew and his wife, they both work. They both work very hard. They both, they young kids. The young up and come, the young go-hards, as we call them. So I did pop this in the chat. I will post it in the other chats as well. If you're willing to donate a couple bucks or at least share it, just give those kids a little bit of hope right now, because that is an ugly situation. And if you guys remember, I discussed this like specifically like a week ago. I was talking about, there's nothing worse than, I never want to be the guy that dies on Christmas. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that everybody's like, fuck, every Christmas we go think about this now. So donate if you can. Like I said, if you can't share it, that would be very nice. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to my family. So, salud. First drink of the night. Let's talk about the trip. Now, I hope you all had a much luckier and a much more enjoyable Christmas than I did this year. I went to Biloxi to play in that slots tournament and to get my freebies, because it was the end of the year. I've explained on here before. MGM has use it or lose it freebies. You lose all your freebies at the end of the year, and then you start fucking scratch on January 1st, right? So I wasn't going to go, but then I looked up like what I had, and I was like, all right, I had about 150 in regular comps that I could turn into free play. I had 150 in free play they would just give me for coming. The room was free. And what I discovered, I didn't even realize this until after I was leaving, like till I was checking out, that I also had express comps. And I'm like, what are those? I had no idea what express comps were. Like, so basically I didn't really eat a lot. I didn't really drink. I drank a lot, but I didn't pay for drinks a lot. Occasionally you're just in a non-gambling situation. Like when I had dinner, I would have a glass of wine or something. And obviously they charge you for that shit. But I had dinner 2 nights. And then I had coffee and breakfast one day. And I had something else that I'd ordered at some point up to the room. And I just figured it's going to be on my tab. I'll pay it out at when I leave. I go to checkout, And they're like, all right, well, you have like $170 in room charges. And I'm like, that's fun. It's fine. Whatever. So I'm like, just whatever, we'll do it. And she's like, do you want to use your express comps? And I'm like, at this point, I'm checking out. And I'll tell you how bad and how much bad luck I had this week. I lost like I didn't lose a lot of money, but I lost a lot of bets. Like I just didn't win anything. I was just on a losing streak, right? I'm constantly using my free play. I'm constantly, any new comps I get, I'm always cashing them out immediately, right? So I didn't know I had this express comps thing. So she's like, yeah, you have like 200 and some in express comps. Do you want to just use those? And I'm like, the fuck are express comps? I don't even know what that is. She goes, oh, those are like, it's like, she's like, anything, the more you gamble, it's like their points, but it's not from your regular, it's so confusing how they do it. They're like, it's not your regular points. It's a different set of points that tallies up and blah, blah, blah. And it's, you can use it for non-gaming stuff, the spa, food, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, so the dinners I had and the steak I had and the fucking chicken parm I had the other night and then the booze, all that shit, like, she's like, yeah, just put it in the system. So that was cool. I didn't even know I had that. So I ate for free. I drank for free. I gambled a little bit for free. I played in the slots tournament. I came in 6th overall. So I Fallen Waffle saying, come on, Chris Rumble. I'm looking at Rumble. Rumble's running fine for me. If you're having trouble with Rumble, go over to YouTube. Look up Nightwave Live. I'm live over there if it makes you feel any better. But yeah, so this is how it happens, all right? So I drove overnight to Biloxi, and I get in at like, has to be like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that, right? It was like late enough in the morning that I was like, the slots tournament's at noon. There's no way I'm going to sleep between now and then. So let me just fucking, let me just get there and I'll because you had to qualify for the thing. You had to play enough to get, I think it was like 300 points. I think if I had to guess, basically I had to at least gamble $300 worth of money, right? Like you didn't win or lose, right? So it's like, if you play slots like I do, right? If you put $300 in a slot machine, I'll make that shit. Even if I lose it all, I'll make it last a while. So you don't have to spend 300, you have to gamble 300. So I made that pretty easy. I did that easily. Print out my little slip, right? And at this point, I'd been driving. I took my Adderall. I drank coffee. I didn't really eat anything. So my stomach was eating itself. I barely ate. I ate 2 meals while I was there. But I didn't eat anything Friday, and I drove up, and I was getting to that point where I was like, I went to the front desk. I'm like, yo, drop my car off at valet. I'm like, yo, can you just watch my bags for a little bit? I'm like, I don't check in until today, and it's probably not going to be till like noon. And then she's like, well, for $40, we could check you in early. And I was feeling so sick. I was like, and I already qualified for the thing. I was like, just give me a fucking room. So she gives me a room. And I go up there and I get like a couple hours sleep. And I get up and I go do this slot thing. I had no idea what to expect with the slot thing. So I was like, I played slot tournaments in other scenarios before. I didn't know how this slot tournament worked, right? Sometimes they do it where you're just playing slots and they have random drops of prizes that'll hit. Sometimes it's, how many points you win, how many you spend, whatever. So I go to this thing and I'm like, how does this fucking thing work? So I print out my slip. They go, you're in the 1 o'clock round. So I go, all right. I was like, how long does this thing last? He's like, it's like 15, 20 minutes tops. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm still like, 15, 20 minutes. How does this work? So you show up. They got all these fucking slot machines sitting around, right? And I'm waiting online, and I was smart. I got there early, so I got to watch other people do it one round. Same way with shooting, like shooting the AP5. I watched everybody else shoot too high. I'm like, I know whatever I have to do, I have to instinctually aim lower than I want because these guys are all shooting high. So I watch this dude while I'm online. I happen to be online behind the velvet rope, like waiting to be the next group so you can watch the current group. And I happen to be standing right behind the guy who won. Not the overall contest, but he won his round, right? And I'm watching this fucking guy go hard. And I'm like intimidated watching him. And I'm like, so this is how it works, right? You get the slot machine, whatever, you got the button, and then what you're supposed to do is basically, it's a speed round. And it lasts like, I want to say 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. So they do a countdown. All the machines are connected, right? They do a countdown. And what you do is basically start smashing the button as fast as possible to get it, because you're not putting money into it. It doesn't cost you anything. You're trying to spin it as many times as possible, but there's a touch screen underneath the reels. So when you do things and it hits a bonus, like these little characters will pop up or these little money bags, and the key is to smash the button as fast as possible and then pop the money things, right? So I watched this other guy, and I'm watching him, and I'm watching people smash the machine with their palms, and I'm watching the funniest of the people that hit the button and then do this. They type like boomers type, like they do it with this. So I was like, I already got this figured out. So I have my routine all ready to go. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do good at this, but we'll see. I ended up being first place in my round. Now, the guy before me, he was first place in his round, second overall, and they were like the second round of the day. I got first place, second overall. So I knocked the guy I was intimidated by down a peg. He got third overall or whatever. He probably ended up seventh or eighth overall. So what happened was, I'm just fucking smashing, right? And I've had no sleep, and I'm hopped up on Adderall. I thought I was going to have a heart attack, going nuts. And at the end, I'm like, number one, boom. Number one, number two overall. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I'm feeling good about myself. Now, I know the top prize. Somebody told me the top prize is like $10K. Second place is like $5K in free play. And it's like $1,000 after that. So I'm really psyched. I was so like, man, I was excited. I'm like, I hope I come in second. I hope I at least hold on to third place. That'd be so cool. I knew there were other groups coming in, but I was like, let's see. I did pretty good. I get down there, 8 o'clock at night later today. I'm like, whatever, I have my dinner, and then I go and I get I'm like, what did I win? I won 700 in free play. I came in 6th overall. I think I could do better next time, too, if I play it again. So I want to play in that slots tournament because it's free money. I got 700 in free play. So then I hung out, I will say this. I had a great time. I have a nice they give you a nice fucking jet tub in the room that you can soak in, and they give you a nice fucking, they gave me, the food is phenomenal. Food was all comped, and it was just a nice time. But when it comes to gambling, right, I'm usually great. I'm amazing, sometimes when I'm alone on a solo trip, I'm really good, right? Because I have no distractions. It's not like it's me and Royce and a bunch of people in Vegas and we have to go to different things and we have to be up in the morning for a certain event. Like, there's none of that. I could just focus. Dude, I sat down and I played at various machines. There's one machine that was pretty good to me, but it never quite popped like it should have. I watched that major climb all the way to the max and it just never popped, right? But I would get little pops on this one machine, little pops on this other machine, right? But here was the problem. This never happens, right? Normally, look, you're cute as fuck, dude, but not now, man. I've been paying attention to you nonstop for the past 24 hours. So normally what happens is I'll pick a machine that's a good machine and I'll sit down and I will win. I'll get on a roll, right? And then what'll happen is a lot of times my play, like if I'm playing and I'm winning, which happens a lot, I draw action over, which is why I always say that's my theory. They want you to draw action over. Now, normally what happens is that you'll be playing, killing it on a machine. Other people will come sit down and they'll just lose money for some reason. And this happened the whole time I was there. Every time I would sit down and play, I would play for a little bit. I would go, hit a couple little bonuses, whatever. And then 2 people would just sit at the other machines by me and just start raping the machine. And I would go on a cold streak. And this happened like 5 times. 5 times in a row throughout the week that I would sit down and I would start winning a little bit. And then other people would sit down and start playing and they would start hitting massive bonuses. And I would just be hitting the button, getting nothing. Not even little wins, right? Like not even, bro, I love you to death, but you gotta leave me alone. I love you to death, but you can't keep doing this, buddy. You can't keep doing this to me. All right? Just chill, bro. But yes, I just lost. I lost all week. And again, I didn't lose a shitload of money, but I lost enough that it hurts. And it's just, I just kept losing and losing and losing. If you, buddy, I love you, but you gotta get lost. I love you. And normally I don't kick you out of here, but you're being very annoying. I love you, pal. But you gotta go figure your life out. He's gonna jump right back up. So yeah, I don't know, man. It just was a big losing week. Then you fucking annoying little prick. I swear to God, if you don't lay down, lay down, lay down, lay down, like this. You. Right? You lay down. You lay down. Ba-booms. Ba-booms, right? You lay there, you go. Sit, boom, lay, something. I don't know, but just leave me alone. I know he loves me, but he's fucking annoying. And I've been paying attention to him nonstop since I came home. And he's like, it's just like, give it a rest for a little bit. For a little bit, give it a rest. 2 hours is all I need. I need to make some fucking money for us. All right, pal? Please. So yeah, I just, I got my dick beat in, and, fucking, I'm like, bro, the fuck, man? I usually at least have one hot streak to talk about. You know, sometimes you're up, you're down, whatever, it evens out. This was just down, 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 down. I'm like, fuck, man. Even at the last time I played on my way out, right? I was like, I'll pull out like $200. I'll play a little bit before I fucking, because I couldn't sleep, because I was sick as shit. So I went back down to play, and I kept, by the way, this old lady that sat next to me during the slot tournament, she kept playing the same game as me, so she kept popping up, right? So I'm playing this one machine that I love, the little fireball monkey. I swear to God, bro, I'm going to lock you out the fucking room. Look, I love you. I love you. But you're being so fucking annoying. Here, go over here. Go over there. You're really you're just wearing on me, Clarence. I love you, but you're wearing on me. So I was just fucking mad, right? Like, cause this all right. So I'll put it this way. This is when I knew I was fucked. I did hit a mega at one point, but that was by that time I was so down it didn't even matter. But we're playing the little fireball game, right? So I see this dude, the Spanish guy, and he's playing at the one I usually sit at. So I sat at the middle one. And I'm hitting the, and I'm playing, right? And it's just ice cold for me. And I got that vibe, like this machine's just going to fuck me. And I'm only playing with like $200 before I leave. So I'm going to go play the little gook game with the guy with the fucking gold coins and a little chink man. I'll go play that because that one keeps giving me little small hits at least. So I go back to play that machine a little bit. Then I come back later. The old lady that I know that I met is sitting at the one I was sitting at in the middle. Spanish guy is gone. But the Spanish guy was hitting earlier. So I go, fuck it. I go sit next to her. I'm like, hey, morning, how are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here today. She's like, yeah, we're out of here too. They're grabbing our luggage. I'm like, oh, hey, and I'm chatting with her. She's sitting at the machine I was losing at fucking 30 minutes prior, playing the same amount as me. And I watch her hit 4 bonuses in a row. One of them was for like $700. And I just went, you know what? Fuck me. And I was playing next to her just losing again. And I'm like, I am just ice cold. I truly brought new meaning to the word bad luck boy. Greasy M-word for 5. Yo, have you seen Ralph? Homie has dropped a ton of weight and picked up a very fine senorita. It's good to see him doing well for once. Happy belated Christmas, 3CM and the boys. Yeah, I've been keeping up on Ralph. I mean, I've been talking about Ralph's improvement. I just found out about his chick. Good for him, man. I think he's doing great. I think, the fact that he's doing great is driving people nuts. And that really was fucking... Triple N goes, how dare she win? By the way, she was the sweetest old lady. And at no point was I being a dick to her. Like, I'm still very nice. I'm a good sport. So when she hit for that 700, I was like, but I here's the thing, right? I'm not one of those where I go, I was just playing that machine earlier. Like, I don't do that to people. You know what I mean? So, like, I didn't even tell her that. She just hit for 700 in front of me and then hit for another 300. And I was like, bro, nice work. I'm like, good for you. Triple N said, did Ralph take Ozempic or pick up a coke habit? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't follow the guy around like a fucking probation officer, but he honestly, it seems like he's quit drinking, which, God, honestly, if I could quit drinking, I'd be skinnier than fucking I even want to be. Yeah, I am not doing any free shows during Christmas week. You fucking kidding me? Fuck that. Especially since I really am sick still. Oh, yeah. So let me tell you that part. I ended up, true story, I threw up on the casino floor like the day I was leaving. And I didn't make it to the bathroom in time. And thank God it was like I was waiting to get my bags and drive out. It was like 5, 6 in the morning. And it was like the day after Christmas. So there was nobody around to see it. And it wasn't like, because I hadn't eaten in 24 hours, there was no food in my stomach. There was nothing in my stomach except water. I was sick, so I chugged a bunch of water because I was sweating and I had a fever and shit. And I literally threw up at one point. It was one of those where I went, and I tried to run to the bathroom, but when I threw up, it was also like in my sinuses a little bit, so I couldn't just breathe through my nose and make it to the fucking bathroom. And I just kind of got towards the trash can and nobody was around, and it went. I was like, and it wasn't a lot. It was a little mouthful. It was mostly water and bile. That's what Triple N said. But I just looked around. I was like, oh my God, it's embarrassing. But Christmas Day, I spent the entire day in bed. I didn't speak to anyone. I texted my family the day before a little bit. I talked to my nephew, obviously, because he's going through this shit with his father-in-law, all that kind of shit. But as far as like me getting like fucking getting out there, like Christmas, I just laid in bed and all I did was sweat and get up every once in a while and throw up. And I don't know what happened. And I know I made a joke on Twitter about banging a hooker, which I considered because she was pretty hot. But I didn't even bang the hooker or anything. I didn't bang the hooker. I didn't drink. I can't say I didn't drink to excess because by any normal human standards, I drank to excess. But for my own style, I didn't drink to excess. I didn't get out of control. I didn't do any drugs. I didn't get any mystery drugs from anybody. I ate pretty good food the first 2 days I was there. It was a nice little time. And then for some reason, Christmas Eve, I'm like, why is it so hot in here? It was one of those. And I was like, uh-oh. And then the next day, I was just a fucking mess. And then now with this thing, I'm all fucked because now my family was going to have Christmas in January. But now with this death in the family, guess what? No Christmas in January either. So we're just going to have to skip this year and figure something out later, which kind of sucks. But honestly, and I told my nephew too, because, he was like, I told him, I'm like, honestly, I'm kind of glad that we moved it, because this year, honestly, if I'd gone during Christmas time, I would have gotten sick. And since he has brand new babies, I wouldn't have been able to, like, what would I do? I can't, I can't get his babies sick. So I told him, I said, I would have ended up sitting in a shitty Courtyard Marriott in the fucking middle of nowhere, North Carolina, like alone. And it wouldn't even have been like, at least when I was sick at the Beau Rivage, like, it's a nice hotel. I can order room service. I can have like a fucking 4 or 5-star restaurant, send food up if I'm hungry. I could have soup. I had soup ordered at one point. But I would have been in rural North Carolina at a fucking Courtyard Marriott that has like a little section in the lobby where you can get maybe a beer and a bag of chips, but nothing, like there's just Cheetos and Coke and like ice cream down there. There's no restaurant. So like, I was like, dude, honestly, I would ended up quarantined in a motel room, and like, I wouldn't have been able to go see my family because they wouldn't have, they would have told me not to come if I'm sick. You don't get babies sick. So I was like, fuck, man. So then I was miserable. I drove back. I was still feeling shitty. Did you have dabs? Triple N said. Yeah, I did. I brought a little bit of dabs for the road, but honestly, I didn't bring enough. That was the other problem. I honestly brought what I thought was enough. And honestly, by the last day I was out. My last day there, I had a couple of hits left of dabs, and I was pretty much fucking tapped out. Because I don't want to bring a lot. Like, it's stupid to bring a bunch. You know, anytime I go on like a trip or something, if I'm like, all right, I'm going to bring, like, whether it's weed or whatever, like, usually I pack it away tight, and it's only a little bit. I never bring like a felonious amount. But I had these really nice, I had this really good grape gas, solventless live rosin, which is like top of the top end. I don't know if Virgie's watching right now, but the top of the top end you can get basically is solventless live rosin. It's like the finest of the finest. And I brought some of that. And yeah, man, I guess just the long drive there and back. You know, you stop off, take a few hits, whatever, and then you're there, and I take a few. But I didn't bring a lot because I'm like, you know, I don't have a fucking little cart. I have like a dab rig. I can't hit this on a casino floor. It's not like Vegas where, you know, when I go to Vegas now, I used to love dabs, but now that I can get dabs here in Florida, I don't really concern myself with dabs when I go to Vegas because it's just a pain in the ass. So now I get carts. And when I'm in Vegas, it's so easy to just pull out a cart and just hit it. You know, there's no fucking, you know, there's not much to worry about in terms of like anybody catching you. You don't have to sit and pull out a fucking thing and then stick your rig in it. You know what I mean? You just get a fucking, it's just, I didn't have any, you know, I've had carts, whatever. But I was like, oh, these are dabs. I'm not going to go through these because I'm only going to be able to hit it when I go up to my room. That was the one thing, man. I was talking to my nephew about that today about, you know, his father-in-law dying and shit. And, you know, he's upset. Obviously, his wife's upset, you know, and he's all bummed out. And, you know, they're all like, well, you know, now they're not going to know their grandpa and this and that. And I'm like, well, a lot of us don't know our grandpa. You know, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I was like, you know, honestly, you know, I was trying to be Mr. Silver Lining. But like I said, man, even when I was losing this week, I can't help but just cheer other people on. I can't help but just go, good for you, man. Good hit. That was a great hit. I'm not going to go, actually, I was sitting there earlier. You're just like, yeah, no, it's good for you, man. It's cool. It's awesome, man. You know? Or if I did, like I did occasionally tell somebody, like I was sitting at this machine a little while ago and I was getting nowhere, but there's a tone to it. It's not like a, oh man, good for you. I was like I told the old lady at one point, I was like, bro, I was sitting here a half hour ago trying to hit this machine playing the same amount, and this thing was kicking my teeth, and I'm like, good for you. Good for you. Enjoy it.